All right, we live. We live. Talk real quick. Let me see your audio.
Mic check, mic check.
Okay, let me bring it up just a little bit.
All right. Shout out to all the replay viewers. What's up, homies?
Yeah, we got MTK back in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How you
Back
been,
back
bro?
in the octagon.
Back in the octagon.
Yeah, I'm good. Water gang.
What do we miss since the last time? Where do we? I think we left off on Holloway beating Oliveira, or yeah, Oliveira beating Holloway. Was that the last time we talked?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You could.
So
It's been
like
a couple
Strickland
weeks. It's
Hamzat's
been a
been
couple
booked.
weeks.
Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to just kind of dive in? I mean, should we? I know you kind of touched on the fight last weekend. Do you want to do that first, or Moicano first?
Let's go last weekend and then let's go this weekend.
Okay.
Get last weekend out of the
Um,
way.
when did,
Takeaways
did we?
from Joe Pyfer beating Izzy.
You know what's crazy, bro? You know what my initial reaction was?
Let's hear it.
Is how does Izzy go on a 4-fight losing streak? That's crazy
Yeah, I don't
work.
know where it fell off for him. He looks like not healthy or something.
I Bro, how do you go from almost being one of the greatest of all time to on a 4-fight losing streak
And the
and
big
then
26 is crazy.
hey, I'm coming back though. Don't count me
I know
out.
he's like, I ain't fucking leaving. I ain't fucking leaving. It's like, oh gosh, Izzy, you might want
Bro,
to
like
leave sooner than later.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Joe Pyfer, and then I get what he wanted to do. He kind of wanted to stand there and bang, and he looked like he got some rhythm. Like he kind of was looking like he was catching his stride, right? But
Mm-hmm.
then he wasn't. That's how quick it turned on him.
Yeah, the way I kind of saw it going was like, if Izzy can't get Joe Pyfer's respect with the punches, it's gonna be really hard for him to get the dub, you know?
Yeah,
And that's what happened in that.
yeah, and yeah, that's crazy. So like his last win was versus Alex Piera, and he knocked Alex Piera off
Mm-hmm.
out. That's crazy to just think about.
It's insane.
Yeah. Then you lose to Sean Strickland. You get submitted by Duplessis. You get KO'd by Imavov. You get KO'd by Pyfer.
Yeah, and Pfeiffer kind of arrived, didn't he?
Yeah, you know what?
Homie kind of arrived.
This was my thing was that what's up streets? I see the homies in the chat.
Yeah, shout out the
Um
streets, bro. It's too hot in my fucking house. Let me go turn on the AC real quick. I'm dying. I'm fucking dying just to start this bitch off. Give me 1 second.
Hey,
Say
what's
what's up
up?
to the streets though.
Yeah, what up, Meat Rocket? And what up, Nitro? Well, let me know what city you guys are from. We'll give you a quick shout out. Nitro, what's your profile pic, homie? And Meat Rock, is that the Soviet Union profile pic? What's happening? Looking at the chat right now. He can't, lucky shot. But no, that just to kind of fill some dead air here. My thing with Joe Pyfer, DDP, oh DDP, that's what's up. DDP caught Izzy too. Um, you know what, Joe Pyfer, oh you're Russian, Privet. Um, Joe Pyfer, he has some solid hands. That's for sure. He got some heavy hands. If he hits you and he can put some a combo together and really start getting his stand-up game like elite, the dude could be a problem in that first and second round. I liked how he went and did once he got Izzy on the ground, he put him in that body triangle. I mean, it was very quick. Like he was on him. I like that instinct to go in for the go in and take it. A lot of these fighters sometimes they get in those positions and they just don't jump on them. I hate when fighters do that. When you have a moment to capitalize and they don't. And he did. He capitalized on the moment. He took advantage of it and he made Izzy just have to eat rocks.
Okay, I'm back. Bro, it's like
Yeah.
80 in my fucking house.
Is it warm out there? It's actually it was kind of cool out here in San Diego.
It's hot out here today.
Really?
It's hot. And then I just showered, shut all the doors, I got the lights on, so I'm just dying. I'm
All right,
just
got you.
dying. It's gonna be a sweaty fucking day. I'll probably chill out
No,
in a second. But it's just like,
but
oh my gosh. I'm fucking
Nitro said about to have a war in the chat. All right, do
why
your
what
thing,
happened?
bro. I don't know. Oh, but this is what I was gonna say. Pfeiffer, remember the Kevin Gastelum fight?
Hmm.
Low key, he lost that third round,
Yeah, he did.
right?
Hmm.
And so his MO has been like, if you can get him in those later rounds, you could probably win the fight. And Izzy, for whatever reason, wanted to stand there and bang with him. He felt like he was catching his stride, but then, like we just said, he got caught.
Yeah.
And then and Pfeiffer, shout out to him for going in and taking advantage of that moment and not kind of like hesitating and letting him kind of catch his, win back again. Where some fighters will do that.
Yeah, no, it was good on Pyfer, and I think it was a tailor-made fight for him. He's also younger, he's 29. He doesn't have all
Yeah,
the miles on
yeah,
his speedometer, if you will, that
yeah.
Izzy's got. So he was able to take the punishment, and I think Izzy wasn't really able to take the punishment, and he was wilting, and that's why he had to take away like Pyfer's fighter spirit, which he couldn't do because he doesn't really have power to begin with, right? Like we all
Mhm.
know Izzy's style is more skirt the octagon and outpoint the guy.
Counter.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, that was kind of rough for Izzy, and I don't know where he goes from here. But,
Bro,
Joe
like,
Pyfer, the world's his oyster, kinda.
yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that too. It's like, who does Izzy fight next?
Hmm. You got the rankings up right now?
Yeah, I do. I mean, RDR.
RDR could be
Nope.
decent. RDR could
No
be
one
more
wants.
his speed.
Yeah, no one wants to see him fight Robert Whitaker.
No, no, no. Well, he already beat Whitaker, and Whitaker going up to light heavyweight.
Oh, okay, so that
Yeah,
that that's good to know. Like, here's the thing. Like, see, RDR would tap him.
I know, I know. But I'm thinking RDR is more his speed. Like they're kind of in their mid 30s, so
Yeah,
like it's just better than giving him like a prospect.
yeah.
So I'd still be okay with it. And it's like, Izzy, if you can't beat an RDR, you got to start second guessing some things.
And then, like, for example, too,
Excuse
like
me, sorry.
I think you put Gregory Rodriguez in there. I think Gregory walks through him.
Oh, wait, Izzy.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with the Gregory Rodriguez.
I'd
Take
be
that
okay with
step
it
back. I'd
too.
be okay with that.
I'd be okay with it too. It gives, but I think RoboCop takes it though.
Shit, that's where we're getting with Izzy, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah. Someone
he's not
says
even
Izzy versus
becoming a
Vittori.
gatekeeper.
Yeah.
He's not even becoming a gatekeeper.
Well, he's that gatekeeper for like the top 10, top 5. If you beat him, then you're like qualified for the top 10, top 5.
Right?
But someone says
Because
Izzy versus Vittori 3.
you know what I mean? Like
It's
that's
like we
like
saw it twice already.
right.
Izzy's too up.
Yeah.
We just gonna run it till fucking Marvin wins or what?
The run is over, bro. It's just done.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's gonna care now. Joe Pfeiffer. Now we have some fights that we can make. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Give him Anthony Hernandez.
Give him a fluffy.
Give him a Fluffy.
Okay.
Give him a Brendan Allen.
Who else in the
Give
top?
him.
Shit. Let me pull it up too.
We got DDP, right? You got Izzy. I mean, not Imavov. I'm sorry. You got Imavov, Sean Strickland, Brendan Allen, Kyle Brawlho, Anthony Hernandez, Joe Pfeiffer.
Kaio's coming off a win. Should we give Kaio like a Joe Pyfer?
I mean, you could, but I wouldn't be so excited for that. That was an okay fight versus RDR. I wasn't like overly impressed,
Okay. All
and I
right.
don't think he deserves Imavov, DDP, or Sean Strickland. That
No.
he deserves a Brendan Allen. He deserves a Kyle. He deserves an Anthony Hernandez. See, I don't even think. See, Anthony Hernandez, I think for me has just been on a kill streak. He did lose that last fight, but you don't want to put Anthony Hernandez versus Joe Pfeiffer. You want to get Anthony Hernandez like back in that winning column.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Who do I? Let me pull up the rankings real quick and see them for myself. Let's see here.
And just so everybody knows here in the chat, I'm a big DDP fan. Like, and the reason why is because when you have these top 3 guys, Sean Strickland's a perfect example. Sean Strickland has one or two, let's say three things really good in his arsenal, and he was able to take advantage of that versus Anthony Hernandez. Anthony Hernandez found out the hard way that there's a different level for these top three guys. DDP showed Sean Strickland, I have 5 or 6 things in my arsenal, and I can counter your 1 or 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, DDP outworked Sean Strickland.
Yeah, pace and mixing it up.
Mixing it up, dude. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes,
It overwhelmed
mixing it up.
Strickland. That's what was able to get him takedowns.
Kicks, dude, and those body kicks, like he's like a bigger version of Marab.
Mm-hmm. Kinda.
He's always moving, doing something.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The cadence of his pace too is a little bit offbeat, if you will.
Right. Like Marab, kind of.
Yeah, so it kind of confuses the opponent. They don't know how to make the proper reads and those kinds of things. So yeah, I'm seeing the rankings too. You got Fluffy, you got Kaio, you got Brendan Allen, who's actually fighting way down in the rankings right now. He's booked against somebody actually unranked. That one dude.
Yeah, who is he fighting? I'm gonna look that up too.
But he's Armenian. I don't know his name though. But I'm seeing Imavov. Should we do like a Pyfer versus Imavov type thing? Too much?
Nah, because Imavov deserves where he's at, bro.
I know. But it's like Imavov, that's what you get, bro. You want to fucking deny the Hamzat fight because of your Dagestan connection. Shit. You just gonna sit on that ranking forever or what?
Right.
You know, but shit, maybe fight DDP then or something, Imavov. Or you know.
Oh yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, DDP versus Imavov. Pyfer versus.
I definitely like that.
The only thing that kind of makes it difficult.
He's fighting Edmund
Shabazian.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
Kaio's the only guy coming off.
Cancel that shit.
What was that?
Cancel it right now, bro.
I know. but real quick, Kaio's the only guy coming off a win in the top 5. So but then again, you know, Pyfer and Hernandez, they're tied for 6 in the rankings. So I guess that's an excuse for for Pyfer to run it with either one. You know, who's gonna get the number 6 ranking, Pyfer versus Hernandez, or you know, the only other guy who's coming off a win in the top 5 is Kaio. So Fluffy or Kaio would be my bet. You're with Fluffy mostly, right? Brendan Allen. If Brendan Allen beats Edmund,
cancel that
and just book Brendan versus Joe.
Yes.
What are we doing here?
Exactly.
What are we doing here?
Thank you.
If we really want to get Edmund a ranking, then let's just feed Roman Dolidze to him.
Feed him Izzy.
Well, I fucking hate Roman Dolidze now. We can get into that.
You know, he fell off, dog.
I don't mean to use the word hate, but like, man, Roman Dolidze really disappointed me when he lost to Christian Leroy Duncan. Yeah. That one disappointed me. And then as far as Izzy goes, if I'm just looking at the rankings, I do see RDR's above him. Then you got a Cannonier, he beat him, a Gregory Rodriguez. So I would say the same thing. I would say Izzy. Okay, I'll throw you 3 options. Okay, Izzy versus RDR, RoboCop, or the guy who just beat Dolidze, Christian Leroy Duncan. CLD's a striker, flashy striker, so I don't know, go kickboxer for kickboxer, something like that.
See, they should have gave Dolidze versus the guy that Edmund.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or Chris Duncan versus Edmund.
Fine, fair enough with me.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And that goes back to your conversation today too about like Chris Dunk. Who is it? Who's Moicano fighting?
Chris Duncan.
Right. Is that who it is? Chris Duncan?
Chris Duncan.
Like, for that to be the headliner, they missed an opportunity. And that's what could be like with Brendan Allen. They're missing an opportunity. That's the bigger question. Why is the UFC missing bigger fights when they have a chance to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly, I wish I had an answer, man. The only answer I have is like they're trying to give this guy Chris Duncan an opportunity to put him over. But it's like in a main event that like you're literally detracting viewers. If you're the average viewer and you got
you ain't tapping in.
You got to decide between your friends and this one, and your friends are always on your ass every Saturday anyway. You're gonna be like, okay, fine. No,
yeah, this is the one to miss for sure.
This is the one. They're gonna be like, bro, definitely miss this one, and you're gonna say okay to it, unless you gotta fucking cover it like me or you got a gambling addiction.
True.
you
But I
know.
mean,
But
even
other
like
than that,
you gotta be a diehard.
that's what I'm saying. You almost have to have an excuse, like you're addicted or you're covering it as a like profession, you know?
Right.
If you're not addicted or covering it, I don't even see the reason to. Like if you got a
Yeah.
girlfriend, bro, your girlfriend's always on your ass about the Saturdays. This is the Saturday you take off to spend with her,
Big time. Big
you
time.
know? And so
I mean, the card is super mid, bro.
I was actually peeping it a little bit. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 fights on here that are decent, but maybe even less than 4 or 5, to be honest.
And I'm usually prelim gang, like
I know. So Ethan
maybe
Ewing, he's one of these young prospects. We're trying to see where he's at. So he's cool to see, and then he's against this undefeated guy. So it's a decent fight. Then we
but
got
see, that's a diehard like conversation though.
it is a diehard conversation.
Like you gotta be a diehard to even know who Ethan Ewing is.
No, I know because he's only had I think one fight in the UFC anyway. He's
Right.
only 1-0, and he debuted on a short notice.
Yeah,
So
this is
this is where like the hardcores are tapped in, and then this gets even worse because like Tommy McMillan, he's Sean O'Malley's boy, right? Who got a contract off Contender Series. He's undefeated, making his debut. So again, the diehards are tuning in because nobody really should know who Tommy McMillan is yet because he hasn't even debuted in the promotion. You know, only the
right.
diehards are looking to see how he's gonna do. But this will go towards our conversation we're gonna have in a little bit, which is like, does the UFC suck now? You know, and it's not a permanent thing, but just at this point in time in the Big 26, as we've entered the Paramount era with the events and the fights we got this year, is it good or is it bad so far? You know, we're gonna talk about it, but this goes into the conversation.
So and you're more saying too, like if you were to put last year versus this year, I mean, you think it's been a mid year.
It's been a pretty mid-year, and if we were to
I
take
mean,
2024, you know, it's been progressively worse. 2025 was worse than 24, and 26 we're
I'll,
off to a worser start than 2025.
well, let's do this. Like just to kind of like still on this Izzy card. I mean, it had a lot of finishes.
Well, luckily, as we've been speaking about it and criticizing the UFC, because we criticized it after the week before Izzy fight,
Mhm.
whatever card that was, that's when I was really on it, and everybody's been on it. But then, of course, you know, the
Oh, that
fall
was the Murphy.
Murphy Evloev. That's when we were all
Yeah,
saying, you know, UFC sucks now. We're pissed off. And then, of course, the next week, the UFC gets the break and like all the fighters deliver. And it's probably arguably the best card of the year, right? So,
that's sad to say though.
mhm.
I mean, it's not even a pay-per-view type of card. It's not even a numbered card, and you're the best card of the year. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, if we really want to get into the weeds of it, again, that's a hardcore conversation. Who really rates a card on its entirety? The hardcore fans, like a real fan who just tunes in, like they're not worried about the card as an entirety.
At
It's kind
all.
of this weird, to be honest with you, to be completely honest with you, the
Hmm.
whole rating cards on its entirety is kind of a new and a bit of a weird concept to me. It's never how I viewed the sport in my life, but it's a new narrative that comes about now. That's why I put it on the title because a lot of people are like best card of 2026 so far. But to be honest, my whole life of watching it, a decade plus, I have never spoke about a UFC card in its entirety ever up until maybe like the last year. I've been hearing this
Yeah.
narrative, this talking point a lot. Best card of the year, best card of the year. I think honestly, shout out to Guru. I think he might have started this trend because he does the card reactions and he'll say like
Mm,
best card of the year, you know.
mm.
But it's a new concept to me, and yeah, it feels a little bit like a cope too at times. Like best card of the year, it's like, and then you go ahead and you say, well, that's kind of sad that this is the best card of the year. I feel like
Okay.
inside of it is a cope.
No. I think because they had some finishes like for the actual card. So like there was a finish in the main event, co-main. You know what I mean? There was just a lot of Michael Chasey. He got a finish. Um, Terrence McKinney got a finish.
More
So
than
look at
half
they had
ended in
5 finishes in a
finishes.
row. They
Yeah.
had 5 finishes in a row. So your hype and excitement is there. But the average consumer could care less about that card though, bro. Let's be honest here.
Well, and let me even tie that in with one more point. It's like yeah, it was a fun card for the
It was a fun card.
people who watched it and in hindsight. But what product did you put out to get new people to come watch it? I think that's the thing a lot of people miss. It's like, yeah, it turned out to be a good card. That is true. But how many new for example, on YouTube, right? How many new subscribers did you bring in? How many new
Mhm.
viewers did you bring in? Because that should also be a scale of how the card is rated, because that also ties into the best card of the year by, like, we had so many good fights that it reached the masses, and a lot of people who don't really watch, right? They tuned in. We got a lot of new viewers because we're doing such a good job of putting on good fights.
Yeah, yeah.
But people totally ignore that aspect, and it's just like, oh, in hindsight, it was a good card, best card of the year. But I would argue, how many new viewers tuned into the card to begin with?
Bro, that would be embarrassing for them to say that was the best card of the year.
Who, UFC or something?
Yeah, if they would want to put their stamp on that, oh hell no, dog.
Kind of, right?
Yeah, because even like let's say this, like okay, so I'm going back and I'm looking at the Justin Gaethje versus Patty Pimblett.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good card, but because of the name value,
Mm-hmm.
and it was all ranked fighters. I mean, if I were to just go on that, Sean O'Malley, Justin Gaethje, Waldo Cortez versus Derek Lewis, the Natalia versus Rose fight, Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva fight, Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davis and Rota fight. Um, I mean, that's like 6 main fights right there.
Yeah, and I would even argue that the inverse happened there. We stacked it, and it was a lot of good fights, but the fighters didn't deliver. Remember, O'Malley kind of boring,
Right.
Figgy kind of
That
boring.
that that that's true.
Right.
That's true.
But to
So then
me,
what you
that's the cost of doing business. That'll happen at times. You can't
right.
control that. But what you can control is the good matchups you put on. You can control that. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things I'm noticing with the UFC. Sorry to cut you off. I'll just get this
No,
one
no.
off real quick. But it's like, that's what I'm noticing with the UFC. It's like the UFC is not helping the things that they can control. And then the cost of business is happening at times. For example, Charles Oliveira grappling Max Holloway and stinking up that main event. That's the cost of doing business, though. That's gonna
It
happen.
is.
That's why
Yeah.
even more the reason you need to do right by us fans and deliver on the fights. Because at times, even when you deliver, it's not gonna be good. So imagine when you don't fucking deliver too. That's the problem
Yeah.
that they're having. They're not delivering, and then also the fighters at times aren't delivering.
Yeah, it's interesting because I just went back to the Murphy Imavov fight, and that was another card. It was like even the co-main, like Michael Venom Page fight for Sam Patterson. I know nobody like that. Dana said he
Worst
walked
fight
out.
of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
You couldn't name another guy on the Roman Dolidze fight. I mean, you know what I mean? So like that's as much hype as we can get. Maybe you had some young up and comers. Um the Imavov fight to me though, that was a great fight.
I enjoyed it. High level
Yeah,
fight.
you know what? You know what's interesting? I wasn't gonna tell you this because we haven't talked in a couple of weeks. Was like if you watch that fight without the commentary, give me your opinion.
Uh
With the commentary, you kind of thought, hey, Imavov's losing this. Evlov, I'm sorry.
so the way I saw it, I
These
mean,
guys all
it's
confused and shit.
everybody actually loves talking about this, what happened in that fight. So let's go over it because we
Yeah.
haven't spoken in a few weeks. I kind of saw it how the average person I think saw it. I saw it 2-2 going into the fifth round. I thought Evloev won the fifth round, but I thought
Yeah.
that the point deduction brought it back down
Yeah.
to even.
Yeah.
So I
Could have
thought
been an easy draw.
I thought technically it should have been a draw. I didn't see where like Evloev won 4 out of the 5 rounds, and the point deduction didn't play into costing him the win. I did not
But
see
the
that.
commentary was like, no, Lerone, he got it. He won.
Were they saying that?
Yes.
Okay.
So that kind of was even when I was watching it live, I was like, yeah, I guess, I kind of was biting on it,
Mm-hmm.
But then when I went back and I rewatched it, I was like, I would have gave the edge to Mozart actually winning the fight. But my respect level for Lerone did go up just due to the fact that he kept on getting back up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things like Mozart, he didn't start trying to take down Lerone until like the 3rd round when everybody expected that 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, and then Lerone kept fighting back in that 5th round. Like he could have gave up. There were moments there, bro, where like he could have just said, fuck it, he got me. I give up.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept getting back up and fighting back.
No, yeah, it was a good fight for sure, and I'll give them a little bit of constructive criticism. It's like both of these guys are such like executioners with, I don't even know if that's the right word, or they're such like they're very like tactical and precise in the octagon, right? But they're almost too
Sure.
tactical and precise to where like the fight plays out kind of in a slower fashion. I would almost relate
Yeah.
it to boxing. You know how boxing sometimes while you're watching it, it's too high level for the casual fan, and they
Yeah.
almost don't like watching it. That's what Lerone versus Movstar was at times. You know, I didn't mind the fight, but I was complaining at times in the fight as far as like, ah man, these it's almost like too high level of a fight. It's getting boring.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're
Because
being
it's so
too much.
technical.
Yeah, they're being too much of tacticianers in there that it's like we're
Yeah.
just seeing the same rinse and repeat X's and O's. But as an entirety, over the course of the 5 rounds, I did like the fight. It did get my respect. You know, and I like to see the best of the best competing against each other. I think overall it'll continue to elevate the sport. I also think that's what's kind of bringing us down right now is us running so many times, you know, UFC fighters are ducking fades. You know, and I'm not saying the UFC fighters themselves, but I'm saying, you know, how is it supposed to progress the sport? And I'm a victim of this. But how is it supposed to progress the sport when we literally saved oh my god, we literally saved Patty from taking a loss to Armand? You know, how is that supposed to progress the sport? We should have matched them up together. You know, but the reason why we didn't is because we thought Armand would beat Patty.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like we're bringing back the sport doing shit like that. You know, we need to have the best fight the best.
I agree with you. Yeah.
So, I actually forgot why I even brought that up, but there was a point in there somewhere. People
We
can just
went
rewind it.
we went down through a lot of little paths here
Yeah.
because we first started with the Joe Pyfer fight.
Then we went to the Lerone.
Let's
Oh, I was saying Lerone versus Movsar. It wasn't the most fun, but I respect it because they are two of the best in that division. You know, so
yeah,
if that's what it is, that's what it is.
and they were both undefeated.
Yes, yes.
They're both undefeated. It went tick for tack for sure.
So there was some storyline there, and then it's number one contender fight. So you know,
Yeah.
it had all the makings of something decent.
Yeah. Just real quick too on that co-main. Oh man, Macy Barber. Bro, just the Jesus on the cross look.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I had some things to say about that. Yeah, she is dead.
Oh, bro, the camera, it just was on her, and she still had the same facial expression.
Mm-hmm. Nah, like, so my raw reaction, bro, when I saw that, did you see my raw reaction? I clipped it off. I was like staring at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. Like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And then I was saying, I'm like, this is my raw reaction. And I know it's kind of mean. And honestly, I kind of wish I didn't say it, but it was raw, real in its time. And it's like, bro, I'm not trying to be some role model. Like, I'm speaking as if I'm like in my house talking to the boys, right? So it is what it is. Take it in its context. But when I watched that and I saw her fucking reaction laying lifeless, I'm like, bro, just go have a baby. Like this ain't for you. Like you're laying there like that. And I even said to you, I'm like, that punch puts you out that bad? Like I don't like. I'm all for big up in Alexa. I'm not even trying to take or bring down Alexa's win. But I'm just saying, like, let's be real. Like that punch really took you out that fucking bad.
But with the choke too, that quick,
The
bro.
choke too was crazy.
That was crazy.
But dude, that bitch is like
bro.
laying in there lifeless. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why my reaction. I'm like, bro, just go have a baby. Like this girl did you so fucking dirty. Like you literally looked like I would do one of my homies in high school, with like a little bit of high school wrestling experience. I would like ragdoll my friends at times. That's what that looked like, bro.
It was so quick. It was so quick.
It looked like not level. It looked like fucking like 5 levels apart. Like whatever level Macy Barber's on, Alexa Grasso is like, you're talking about like Froshoff versus like fucking varsity.
Yeah.
You know, like D1 versus like community college.
And what's crazy is what didn't Grasso lose to Natalia Silva?
Did she?
Yeah, I think that's that's who he lost to. But like that was a bad loss. That was like I mean, that was bad.
I think that, to be honest with you want to know my opinion? Do you see? Because a lot of people, and this isn't where I'm getting it from, but a lot of people have said that like, oh, you know, Macy, she's like she played it up when she was laying lifeless. She was kind of playing it up, and I don't think she was playing it up. But again, this is why I think she's not built for it. I think that hear me out. I think that she came to after going for the takedown on the referee. Once she kind of like came to and put her back on the mat, she was waking up and coming to the realization that she had just had an embarrassing knockout in front of all the fans. And I think she had a panic attack, and like the life started like, you know how like if you have a panic attack, you kind of like go unconscious, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why she was laying lifeless, because she was almost having a panic attack, because she came to with the bright lights and the fans and she knew what just happened to her.
But
Like,
yeah, but
go ahead.
I think I could think it could be like 4 or 5 different things, right? I mean, you got punched, but just like to get choked out too, like, and then to try to revive yourself, and then what you just said too, like some shock value,
Mm-hmm.
some PTSD trauma type of shit. Like, where am I?
Mm-hmm.
To catch your um she like got hit with a car. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
that was crazy reaction. Like if I was dating, I did have like a serious talk with her, like, hey, we may need to get you out on the stretcher right now.
Yeah. Nah, but let's give credit to Alexa Grasso as well.
Oh,
That was amazing to see, and um, that's what I like to see from women. So I did also speak on this, but like, to be honest with you, I want it to be clear, because it's like I really don't hate the women. I hate how they fight.
yeah,
That's my biggest thing. And
yeah,
to the point where like I have no problem being happy for Alexa. I have no problem being wrong about shit like this. And like when I watched it, I thought it was so beautiful of a win. On top of knowing
yeah,
what these fighters go through, right? I know that she lost her belt. I know that she's making a fraction of what she was making before. Right? I know that life's not easy for her, because life's not easy for a lot of these UFC fighters. Her to her even banging on the canvas after the win, it just shows like how much she needed it. And then I saw like
yeah,
her winning the bonus, her team telling her she won a bonus, and it's just like a sense of relief that came over her. It wasn't like this goofy jumping up and down, crying, because she'd been through the ringer with the UFC, I feel like. And now she's like, fuck, like I'm just happy I got this fucking check. And the
mm-hmm,
whole thing, very happy for her, and I could almost get emotional because I respect it so much. So just so
mm,
people know, I don't hate the women. I hate how they fucking fight. If you
yeah,
go in there, you fight like Alexa, and you be a fucking dog, and then you fucking flex on the crowd after that win. Like, that's what we want to see. It's a fight sport. It ain't some type of feminine sport. Like, if you're gonna come into this sport, we want to see women being dogs, bro. We do, and it's cool. It ain't no
right.
sweat. It's no
A
like dyke.
lioness,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
nothing. Like, we fuck with it. That's what we're
yeah.
that's what we're trying to see from you. We don't want to see no pretty girl shit like outfit of the day, get ready with me on IG. We don't we don't want to see that shit. Get ready with me, what I eat in a day. These fighters got it fucking twisted, bro. We want to see you being a fucking dog. Tell another guy fuck you and let's run it. And that's all you got to do. But instead we got like what I eat in a day as a UFC fighter. It's like, "Oh my god, you're dwindling down your name just doing that." You are your first and last name, not as a UFC fighter, bro. What happens when they cut your ass? Now you can't make no more videos like that.
Right, right.
Side tangent, but it's just, credit to Alexa Grasso.
Yeah, yeah, no, that was a good win. My only thing too is with all of this is like, I mean, who does she really fight next? Like, I don't know. She's gonna have to go on a major run to try to get back into that title contention.
Yeah. Do you have the rankings up? I got them up pretty
Yeah,
much.
Manan Farah and Natalia Silva's right there. Silva's probably gonna end up fighting Valentina Shevchenko, right? Because
Yeah.
she beat Alexa Grasso. Did she beat Manan Farah? Who did Manan Farah fight?
Natalia beat
She
Rose in
was
her
just
last one.
yeah. She was a bit. What's her name?
Nama Yunus.
No,
Jazz
Jazza
Divisius.
Divisius.
Who fought? Oh,
Yeah,
Manon Fiorot.
beat her. Yeah, and Jasmine was on a nice little tear. So Natalia Silva's kind of next in line. Alexa Grasso lost to Natalia Silva, and maybe Alexa Grasso fights Manan Farah.
No, I'd be down to see that.
Yeah,
Or
I see
Alexa
that.
versus
Maybe.
Zhang Wei Li. I don't know. I'd be down for it.
Yeah, but that's a different division, isn't it?
Bro, how the fuck is Kayla Harrison in this damn division? Wait, she's not. Oh,
No, no,
that's the
she's
women's.
not.
My bad. I'm looking at the women's pound for
The pound for
pound.
pound.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
bad. See, I don't even fucking dabble in these waters very often.
yeah.
Like, I
You're like,
don't.
like who
Okay.
these?
Yeah, I don't even know what. Okay, so she is a flyweight, right?
Yeah, she's supposed to fight Nunez when she comes back. So I mean, I'm here for that.
Yeah, so
But
Alexa's number 3. Aaron Blanchfield. They already
mm,
fought, didn't they?
yeah, it's all mid, bro. At that point, when you start digging in the well, it's all mid,
It's like we
bro.
don't fucking pay enough attention.
Yeah, it that don't if you get past the number three, nope, it's over.
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
over.
so I got something on the top of my head I wanted to just run by you.
Yeah.
So I'll get your thoughts and I'll also give you some extra context. Also, I'll give the chat some extra context because I listened. If anybody's in here right now who recommended me last night, listen to Josh Thompson. I did. And
Tony said Alex Grasso versus Brandon Moreno.
I don't know about
That's a
that
good one,
one.
bro.
Okay.
I like that one. I like that one.
I did listen to Josh Thompson's podcast, so I got a little bit more context on the Nate Diaz situation. But I'll give it all to you right now. And this is some new information for the chat, so make sure you boys are listening. Nate Diaz, we all know by now, right? Maybe I don't know if you do or not, but Nate Diaz, he came out yesterday. He admitted, I turned down the UFC offered me more money to return against Conor McGregor than I'm getting to fight Mike Perry on the MVP Netflix card.
Okay.
So, a lot of people are like, well, damn, why would you turn down more money for an easier fight, right? To go fight Mike Perry on MVP Netflix. He gave his little explanation, Conor's down bad right now. He'd rather fight Conor coming off of some wins, simply put. It turns out that this is more of how the negotiation went. The UFC allegedly, according to Josh Thompson, the UFC offered Nate Diaz, a multiple fight deal, like a 4 to 6 fight deal. And the first fight for his return was going to be a big bag for 15 million. I hear they said they were debating. They said 15 or 20 million in that ballpark for Nate Diaz for his first fight back. But then every other fight after that is going to be a flat 4 million. And so
still good money.
Yeah, but apparently Nate denied that. So I get, I don't have much to say about it, but that is the situation. Nate was offered big money for that first return fight against a McGregor, and then after that it would be a drop off to 4 million. So I don't know. I'm assuming now he's gonna go get this win over Mike Perry, hopefully, in his mind, and then come back to the UFC.
Is that bare knuckle or that's the MVP?
It's MMA.
MMA, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he'll come back to the UFC and maybe try to get just bargain for a little bit more because MVP is a one-off. So you raise your stock just a little bit more coming off of that, fighting on Netflix too. You can go to the UFC and be like, "Can I get 30 million instead of the 20 million you offered me?" And then 5 million for you're right because same thing that happened with John Jones.
I honestly can't even imagine them giving him 15 million. To be honest with you, you already know how I feel about these fights.
I know how you feel about
it. I'm a big what are we doing here?
I know how you feel.
Seriously, what are we doing here? It's.
But he does bring in money.
Here's the thing:
people pay for Nate Diaz, whether he's good or bad anymore.
If they would have said Nate Diaz versus Moicano, okay.
No, 15 million for that.
But I mean, I'm not giving him 15 million though. I'm just saying, what are we doing here? Why are we in this nostalgia fight?
I know. I get you. I know that it just loses you completely, and it's hard for me to even.
It does, bro.
It's hard for me to even explain it to you because I know how lost you are about it, and I respect it. It's not a bad thing. It's more so of you are more on a merit of the sport, and you're like, bro, 15 million. This dude is way past his prime. What the fuck are we doing? And I get it. I get 100%.
it. I can't even imagine that they seriously were going to even consider giving him that amount of money or the 4 million.
I know, but I know that it's hard for you to understand, but to put it bluntly, even if you're going to disagree with it, no, I know. And I want to tell you, but then I don't want to tell you in the back of my head, cause I know what you're going to say about it.
Okay.
But it's the reason why, is because he does generate money. He is still a star, even if he's kind of past his prime.
So you think a lot of casuals will tap in?
They will tap in, yeah. And that's where they get the catch. But it's UFC, pay your fucking fighters in their prime. You cheap bastards. This is why we got stuff like this happening. That's this backward ass shit. That's why even Max Holloway is calling out McGregor, right? And people are like, let Max Holloway get his bag against McGregor. For me, I was like, you on that. And you see, even you nodding your head. I'm like, I can't disagree with that. But then it's bro, why is Max Holloway needing to still get his bag? Why hasn't Max Holloway already got his bag? Why isn't Max Holloway getting his bag? Pay him the top dollar to fight the top guys. Why are we doing that instead?
And here's my thing. I'll give you an analogy. Let's use another sport. If it's like when Michael Jordan went to play for the Washington Wizards. Mm-hmm. People watched it, but we're not watching prime MJ. Mm-hmm. People watched it, but it wasn't the numbers that when he was 6P. You know what I mean? MJ, legend, GOAT. Mm-hmm. I can't sign on with Conor either, dude. I don't know why people get so excited about it. Yeah, would I want Max Holloway to get paid for sure? You know what I mean? That's the only reason I would watch it so Max can get paid. Only reason. And you're right. Why are they not already paying Max anyway? On just off top in your prime. Let's go. Give him the money.
It's like, so he has to go fight McGregor to get this bag that we're all talking about. Why can't he just get this bag in his next fucking fight against one of the top contenders?
And imagine this. Imagine we lived in the world where, like, I don't know, the Hamzat versus Sean Strickland, right? Both fighters, 15 mil off top.
That's what it should be, right? If this is the biggest
Yes.
fight of your life, the biggest fight you can give to the company, then let's get you your
Yes.
biggest payday. And it's also the most competitive, the most merit based. Like, these guys aren't washed. We have real champions. Why the fuck would we pay 15 million? And I'm not saying I'm against Nate Diaz, but I do see your point as a purist. So I'm almost siding with you a little bit. It's like, why the fuck are we paying 15 million to guys like Nate Diaz who aren't champions and shit like that? How are these guys getting paid more? You're not even, like, to me, you're not respecting the sport.
And honestly, too, like, let's just say we can go, let's just say the Ilya fight versus Justin Gaethje fight, right? 15 mil off top. Like, off top. You know how much that this just raises the aura of the fight. When you walk out there, someone's about to get paid. Like, you get more invested.
Right, because
we
do
the
that.
Alex Pieta
Go ahead.
versus Cyril Gane, right? Is that who it is?
Yeah.
30 mil off top just because of their heavyweight. The bigger you are, the more money you should be getting because you are the baddest man on the planet. Nobody on the face of earth would walk up to a 225-pound man. Not like that.
I completely agree.
That's why Mike Tyson was the baddest out there. You know what I mean? Because he was just big, you know. And so I don't know. They got it really weird, bro.
It's kind of backwards.
And they've already got paid.
Right.
They just don't want. And it's like the NFL where to, like, say, hey, we got Josh Allen, we got Patrick Mahomes, but these guys are only getting paid like $5 million. When right now their contracts are like, no, I think Patrick Mahomes got $500 million.
Well, even if you want to compare it to the NFL, it's like, and I honestly probably do get that maybe Tom Brady might have got the biggest contract in his last deal. But in a way, it's like, technically with the NFL, actually, it's not really the case. In the NFL, when you're the best, right, you get the biggest deal. Then you start getting traded and your deals start coming down a little bit, right? But in the UFC, it's opposite of that.
But think about this, like, the NFL's grimy, savage when it comes to the contract, because they'll say a pretty number, like, hey, we're going to give you 500 million. Guaranteed is 120. Everything is contingent off of that guaranteed
you being able
money.
To play.
Right. Yeah. So they could cut you next year. You're still going to get paid that 120. But that other, whatever, 380 million, that's off the table.
Oh, that goes by the wayside. That's like it never existed.
Yes. Now, if you want to go if a new team wants to come in and grab you and pay you guaranteed money. So the NFL is all about guaranteed money. Now, the UFC could structure something like that. Like, hey, we have a 3-fight contract, right? Whatever they do, guaranteed first fight. If you're a champion and you stay champion, 15 million. You know what I mean? You fall off, hey, you go right back down to 1 million, whatever the number could be, right? Yeah. I think that's a good structure of, like, guaranteed and raises the stakes because when there's more money, there's more stakes too.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And they got to be in their prime. You got to be in your prime. You can't be this fucking, like, I haven't even fought in the UFC 5 years ago.
And that's why
when did Conor last fight in the UFC?
What?
When was the last? What year did Conor fight in the UFC?
2021, 2022.
You wasn't during COVID?
It was right after COVID.
It. Was it?
Right after it, I think.
Someone look this up. Someone in the chat, man. Like,
yeah, let us know when Conor last fought. Somebody probably just knows.
Was it Dustin Poirier, right? He lost to Dustin.
He lost to Dustin in the rematch, the trilogy.
Is that when he, like, broke his foot?
Yeah. It hasn't been back since. But you're right about, putting more money into it raises the stake. Because think about it like this, right? Think about it like this. Nate coming back to the UFC, what's everybody talking about? The money he's making off re-signing, right? Even though he's past his prime, even though he's not a champion, even though he's not even in talks to fight a top contender, right? It's talks to fight McGregor. And so that's, like, I feel like why people get excited for it, to answer your question too, people get excited about it because the money blurs the lines in the UFC. Sometimes if a fighter is getting paid a lot of money and the fight's not that good, people will start to think the fight's a really good fight and talk about it that way because of how much money the fighter is getting paid. And like you say, why? So if that's the case, then why not do that for your top fights, right? Because Pereira versus Gane is going to get hyped up anyway, just because of the talent. You could have a whole separate talking point if each of these guys are getting tens of millions of dollars. Now it's
Yeah.
the talent and it's also the money. But right now, all we could talk about is the talent with them because they're not getting paid this big talking point levels of money.
Right. And it's all like hush hush almost too,
Yeah,
right?
it's like they don't even
Don't
want us to
don't
talk about it.
right. And I think too here, and I'll go back on Nate real quick. I'm a Nate fan, and it's almost one of those things. If they were to come and say the BMF title, guys like Nate, right? Minimum 5 million for the BMF title. I'm all in. I'm all in on that.
Hmm.
I'm all in on that, bro.
Because it's
Like,
cool to see. It's life-changing money.
and Nate Diaz, and I would say he deserves that, right? Just being an OG, Nate Diaz is a fan favorite because he's a dog,
Hmm.
and he's gonna put it all on the line. But Nate Diaz wasn't some like knockout specialist. He was hey, like I'm just a gritty fighter, and we're gonna fight to the end, never give up fight.
Exactly. A street dude who's really good at
Right,
fighting, actually.
right,
Yeah.
right, and just never gave up. Like that's why you had to love him because that's why he's a BMF guy.
Hmm.
Like that's what you would want to watch it for.
Yeah, for sure.
So those type of fights I'm all in on. Even if Connor would go for the BMF and be automatic, I guess because it's Connor, you have to give him more than a 5 mil. But that's where I kind of see too. Like the BMF needs like a 5 million cap.
Hmm.
Like you got to make 5 million for that title.
No, I agree, but shit. I guess we're just holding our breath with that because we know the UFC.
Right.
It's like they never want to fucking pay, and that goes to the other conversations I've been having. But just to I'll just lay it out there for you like this. I've been speaking about this a lot on stream because everyone's up in arms about John Jones not coming back to the UFC, and Dana not wanting to pay John Jones. But it's like, bro, fucking John Jones. Everybody seems to forget that John Jones retired and all that stuff. Like Dana doesn't give a fuck about him fighting at UFC White House. But the one that people should be complaining about is Islam versus Ilya, because they didn't want to pay that one. And I'm just bringing that up because it's like I'm saying they never want to pay their fighters, and they didn't want to pay that fight. Dana's over here capping about Islam's hand injury because he
I
didn't want to
honestly think,
pay.
bro, I honestly think Islam didn't want to fight at the White House though. I honestly think Habib said, "Nah, we're not doing that."
That's what okay, so that's what they were saying, right? And honestly, I can't even go off of what I think. I'm just trying to go off of what people are saying. So I know Habib said that, but Ali came out recently and Ali's like Islam would have fought at UFC White House with or without the hand injury that Dana's claiming.
Hmm.
So when he says
But he's
that,
saying,
you know,
yeah, saying the money wasn't enough
but
though.
here yeah, and here's what I'm going to say too. It's like, do we know if Ali's lying or not? Well, why doesn't somebody ask Dana that? Why doesn't somebody say to
That's
Dana, right? Hey Dana, Ali says Islam would have took the fight with or without a hand injury. You say the fight didn't get made because of a hand injury. Ilya
yeah,
says the fight didn't get made because he asked for more money for that fight. Can you tell us the truth about this? But
yeah.
instead, we got fucking Bird for Brains being like, hey, Dana, John Jones says something about his negotiations. Fuck that fight. Like you're saying, he's not even a champion. He's old as fuck. We got the two pound for pound best guys, which is a fight at the UFC Fight House that should have been made and didn't get made, right? According to all these little rumors that are being put out, and no one's asking Dana the nail in the coffin question. We've made it this far, motherfuckers. We've made it this far. We have all the stories. Ilya, I asked for more money. They told me I can't have the fight. Islam, I would have taken the fight if they offered it, but they pulled the offer because Ilya asked for more money. Dana, we would have made the fight, but Islam's injured, so we gave Justin to Ilya. It's like someone asked the fucking golden question already. And I know it's
Mhm.
confusing. I don't even expect you to follow that. But it's like, just rewind that shit. Just rewind that shit. I'm so sick. And I say all that to say, these fuckers, bro, at the post-fight press conference, not even worried. Not even worried
Yeah.
about why we didn't get the top number 1 and number 2 pound for pound fight in the UFC. The only two double champions we have right now. We could have potentially got that for UFC White House. Nobody paid attention to it. They paying attention to John Jones and his sorry ass, bro. He retired. Fuck him.
You, well, you know what we need? We need one of these NFL reporters to go into the UFC and shake things up.
Yeah.
Because you'll see some of those NFL reporters ask those coaches really hard questions, like super awkward questions. Like, do you think you're gonna get fired next week? Like, dude, fuck you,
Yeah, they do ask
bro.
shit like that. They do ask shit like that.
Bro,
I've heard it.
they know love in there, bro. Like,
Yeah.
because there's no like with the UFC, it's almost because they're not talking to the coaches, they're talking to
Yeah,
ownership.
it's like they're talking to Roger Goodell every fucking time, you
Exactly,
know? And
exactly. It
Roger
does kind
Goodell
of
could
change.
pull their fucking credentials and media passes.
Maybe,
At least
maybe.
that's in the back of your head.
It's like a state by state,
Mhm.
because every team has a different head coach. Just like a head coach going in for the fighter almost.
Mhm.
And that's who you're dealing with after the fight. But everybody wants the juice from Dana.
Yeah.
You got to get the juice from Dana.
Right. So I mean, I can understand that a little bit. It's like, but at the same time, expose it, bro. Don't like that would
Yeah.
be wrong, right? That would be wrong of Dana if you come in and ask real questions and he bans you. That would be wrong.
Yeah.
So fucking
Yeah.
do it. Like I'm so tired of these scared ass people, you know, always fucking like biting their tongue for another man who would never give them an opportunity, you know? It's like, bro, if that's what you're so scared of doing, of Dana doing to you, taking away your media credential for criticizing
Right.
him, then make him fucking do that shit. That shit is not right. That's unethical. So make him do that. But then people fucking like succumb to it and they're like, I just want Dana to be my friend so he'll give me a $50,000 poker chip like he does Steve will do it on the weekends.
And I think too, it's one of those things where like, if you seriously went into journalism, you went in to ask the hard questions.
It's not about getting Dana to like you.
Right. Right. The point of being a journalist, I was just watching something today, and this is the other day, and this might be on a whole like different level of like journalism, but they were trying to expose a media outlet that was covering up someone that got like sexually assaulted.
Hmm.
And they were like, no, dude, like, we're going to go into this press conference. We're going to ask these guys like hard questions. Like, that is our job to uncover the truth.
Hmm.
Like, they were so adamant, bro. Like they didn't care if they were going to get arrested.
Yeah.
They were so adamant, like, about uncovering the truth that they were all in. And I think that there's some of that maybe might be missing, but that may be the said too. There's a lane open for that.
Hmm.
So
No, definitely a big lane open for it. So I agree with you. And I think to some degree we're exploiting that lane a little bit. We're not showing up to these press
I
conferences,
think
but
I honestly think you do, because you get a little heated,
mhm.
and like I've been seeing you on some of these live streams. I'm like, okay, Jacob came to play.
It's like, bro, we really got to do this again, don't we? You keep fucking
I
lying
was
to
gonna
us.
I was gonna tell you too. You know what I like about your live stream
Yeah.
is you have this kind of ritual of you setting up.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a
Yeah,
little
no, but
setup at the beginning.
it kind of keeps you intrigued of your routine.
Hmm.
So it like keep that.
Yeah, I don't like to just. I kind of like don't like it when I just come on and then I'm like ready to go in the chat. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of like it where it takes a couple minutes to get started.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like maybe you can add some theme music. I don't know, but like there was something to it, because I always, when I used to do live streams, I always like wanted to get right into it,
Hmm.
because I thought, oh, I couldn't keep my audience unless I jumped right into it.
Yeah.
But then what I saw was like actually you can build the audience to get to like want to know your style and your routine. Like, oh, okay, like they're now being accustomed to it.
Hmm. No, I feel you. And that you can also build up because they're all waiting for you to kind of like get started versus maybe if you like start speaking right away, the new person who's just tuning in, they might click out right away because they start to hear you talk. So you kind of build up the audience a little bit,
Yeah,
get the
yeah,
anticipation, build it up,
yeah, yeah.
draw it out a little bit. So, um, okay, I did have another couple topics. Let's just discuss it. Let's just
Okay.
discuss it. Okay. Now I'm not expecting you. Well, you're allowed to be however you want to be, right? So let me just bring it to your attention. This whole Joe Pyfer finding God, nearly
Uh-huh.
taking his own life, right?
Uh-huh.
Girlfriend breaking up with him for cheating on her.
Cheating on him. Oh, he cheated on
cheating
her.
on her. Yeah, so she left him. And so, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people are suggesting that he's being manipulative by coming out and saying that he almost took his own life. And that, that's putting a lot of pressure on the girlfriend to want to bring him back.
He said that in the post-fight speech, right?
Yeah. So here, let me put it like this, right? Let me put it like this. He did his girl dirty. He was cheating on
Right.
her.
Right.
You
She
know,
found out.
she found out and she left. But she was, he made it seem like it was a toxic repeated habit. So it's not like he cheated on her one time. He's making it seem like he's making it seem like he cheated on her like over the course of years. And she
Habitual.
finally had enough. So just understand that it's not a one-time mistake, I don't think. It was habitual over the
Right.
course of years. Final straw, she breaks up with him. Now he finds God. Then he almost takes his own life, and then God saves him. So are you? A lot of people say simping over a girl. You almost took your life over a chick. What's wrong with you?
I would say this, that Joe Pyfer does seem
Just how
to
you say
like
the name.
Joe. What is it? Joe Pyfer.
Joe Pyfer. I don't know. I say the hard P.
Joe
Yeah,
Pyfer.
that's how I say it. Pyfer.
Joe Pyfer.
Joe Pyfer.
I he always does wear his heart on his sleeve, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's always saying something emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it was the Mexican burrito in Mexico.
Whether it's his abuse,
Right.
whether it's fans hating on him.
Right. He's like, he's so that's expected of him, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
That's just his MO.
Yeah.
And now we just got to, kind of see another story of him, of what's going on in his life, and he decided to use that moment. I don't think he really thinks. He just starts talking
Okay, so
in his emotion.
no, yeah. So I'll give you my thought, and I hear what you're saying. He doesn't really think, and I think that's why he thinks that like he can get these things across. Like to be honest with you, bro. Go ahead.
Here's my thing too. I want to see where you're going to be at in a year from now. Like, I don't know his whole like save to God Jesus type of thing. Like, was he religious before and he just kind of got religious again? And so, because I know people like that too, bro.
He
Like,
turned it up when he was hurting that his girl left him because of all the trauma he gave her. So it's like you're kind of a
okay.
pussy.
Well,
If I
here's
could
the
just
thing.
be blunt about it.
Wasn't he talking about before like how much trauma he's been through
with his upbringing as a child?
So now you're putting people through trauma.
Mm-hmm.
So, like this is the thing
And
with
let's
people
not act
like
he probably didn't try to blame that on why he cheats too.
Here's my thing with like, okay, and so you're religious, you're cheating, you've been through trauma, so you want to help other people. Now you're causing people trauma. Now you're back into the Lord. I want to see where you're at in a year.
Mm-hmm.
If in the year from now you're like, hey, I'm on the straight and narrow because of the Lord, and I'm now getting married, and he's actually like doing all the right things in his life. Okay, I'm a let me see where you're at in a year, because if you're always every year I'm like this, and I don't know what person I'm getting with, I don't know what to trust when you say something. That's like girls I know, bro. Like, well, I'm just gonna put it in the Lord's hand. I just had my third baby daddy. God wanted me to have this baby. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Keep going to church with that attitude.
Yeah. No, I'm of that. Pretty much of that same belief. It's like, well, first off, I just am not gonna take all Joe's words at face value. It's like you got to show something. I think that all this change and her breaking up with you, it's like, it's going for a quick fix. It's like, oh, I found God. I'm good enough again. Come back into my life.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, once she does get you back into her life, are you going to resort back to your old ways? So I fully agree with like, let's see where you're at like a year from now. But the other thing I want to mention is like, this type of thing happens so much with these dudes. And I've told the people in the chat that like, I've heard of this story in the past, almost identical, a guy's girl leaving her, him finding God, right? And then like the craziest thing to me is like, now we need to get married because I found God. We've been living in sin, living under the same roof, not married. We need to get married. And it's like, bro, that's the last. You need to get married like you need fucking COVID. You dip fuck. Like, are you kidding me right now? We need to get married because we've been living in sin. Yeah, bro. And you haven't even really addressed the sins. You're fucking crashing out because this girl left you because of all the pain you caused her. So
Right.
that's what I gotta say about it. It's like, bro, this shit is like, it's too much sometimes. Like now we got it because he said it in the post fight speech, and I can't wait to marry you. You know, and he also says he says, you know, now because of God, I'm able to see her as the mother of my kids, you know, as my wife. Before I couldn't see this stuff. It's like, bro, you were low key like treating her like crap.
Right.
And now that she
Right.
left you, now you see, like, look at it at face value. Oh, she left you. Oh, now I don't want to cheat on you. Now I'm controlled by God. You know, I don't do wrong anymore because God oversees me. It's like, you know, the last thing I just brought up, whatever the fuck that was, you know, where you said right a second ago, like all these things, like, oh, the fact that you see, like now you see her as the mother of your kids after she left you. Like, are we not really seeing this? Like, dude, she left your
Right.
ass and now you're telling her everything she wants to hear.
And I will say this too, like there's something to be said. I've been, you know, I've been through a divorce, so I remember that feeling, bro. Like, I'll do anything to get you back. Like, what do you want me to do? You want me to sober up? You want me to go to church? You want me to, you know, whatever. Eventually, though, eventually, let's say that person takes you back, you'll go, like you just said, you'll resort back to your old ways. You got to do it for yourself
Mm-hmm.
first. Got to do it for yourself first. And I think that's something that was a learning lesson even for me. Like, you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to really, you got to change internally, and then maybe 6 months to a year, you know, if you were really to be able to rekindle that relationship, it was meant to be, you could.
Mm-hmm.
If it was meant to be, I don't know.
I think that's a good way of saying it because I felt bad putting it out there, but I wanted to say this as well. It's like, um, for Joe and the whole God thing, and then all that change. I was trying to say it. This is the way I was kind of saying it, but I felt bad saying it. I'm like, God's not going to fix those problems. But God, you know, technically, you know, God can fix those problems if you put a lot of faith and you really take it seriously. But what I think is the bigger thing is it's like, yes, you know, God has the potential to fix these problems for Joe if he really believes. But I think what a lot of people are missing is what you said, which is like, but Joe is making these changes for someone else, not
Yeah,
really for
yeah,
himself, you know, and
yeah,
that's the big caveat. You know, he found God and he's making these and he's willing to make these changes now because of someone else, what they did to him. It's not because this came from within, because if it did, why didn't he find God throughout the whole time he was cheating on her before she left him, right?
hmm,
He had so much time to change for himself and change for for the people he loves without them forcing him to do it, right? But he only decided to make this change once she left him. And so you're
yeah,
not really changing for yourself, like you said. You know, you're changing for her. And how long is that expected to last?
yeah,
Not at all. Like, let's just be real
yeah,
about it.
100%,
And
100%.
I've been saying too, you know, if this was my mother, right, and she told me this, I'd say, listen, you ain't finna marry this dude over my dead fucking body. You know, put God in the picture all you fucking want. That is the stupidest decision I've ever heard in my life. You know,
Yeah,
it's dangerous. As a matter of fact, it's actually dangerous because who
yeah. I mean,
knows? Who knows, bro?
yeah. I mean, bro, it's just crazy. Fighters in relationships are crazy. These stories behind the scenes with the relationships they have with fighters are sometimes the most sanest person, they're the most emotional, intelligent people either, you know?
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, maybe because they're ruled by emotions a decent amount of time, hence why they
yeah,
became
definitely.
fighters and shit.
And look at Connor, bro. Like, we can go down the list.
Yeah.
And Joe's not even famous.
Okay, so let's get into this one too, real quick, just because I think a lot of people, or not a lot of people, but I think some people disagree with me. So it'd be good to hear your opinion. For me,
All right.
I'm like, simply put, I'm like, bro, I'm not even stressed about you cheating. Like, I don't know if I've made it sound like I really care that he cheated. I could care less, but it's the fact that you are such a pussy when it comes to dealing with your own actions. That's what I have an issue with. Like, I could care
With
less.
Joe.
Yeah, it's like, bro, you cheated on this bitch, right? And she
Hmm.
left you, whatever the case. Take it like a fucking man. Don't take your life over it. Like that's what I don't respect. I could care less that he cheated on his girl. I'm not even on him about that. It's like, but if you're gonna do that, then
Yeah,
fucking
that's too
be a man
extreme.
about it, bro.
Yeah, that's too. Yeah, yeah. If you got to hold yourself
What the
accountable,
fuck you
right? I mean, like
because you're
that's
crying now, and it's like, bro,
yeah,
she left you because you hurt her. What are you
yeah.
crying
We're
for?
supposed to cry for you now,
What are
right?
we
Like
doing?
we're supposed to give you sympathy.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you 100% on that. And to take your life, I mean, that's hella extra,
because
right?
you did something
Like,
dirty to somebody and they
right.
had moral standards for themselves and didn't want to stand by that.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Like,
yeah.
buddy, the world
I
does not
mean,
revolve around you.
yeah, he does have that type of persona
Yeah.
on multiple layers,
Do you
right?
know who Chris
Multiple levels.
Watts is by chance?
No.
He had a Netflix documentary. I don't know if you remember this story, but you can see it on Netflix. He was this guy who murdered his wife and his two daughters, and then he did all these interviews while people were trying to look for them. And it turned out he finally admitted, but he drove them to like some cornfield, and like the big like these big towers in the middle of these farms where I don't know, it's like oil at the top or
I think I
water.
saw that,
He
bro, where you stuffed their
yeah,
bodies in
they
there.
found their bodies in the oil
Did see
container.
that. I did see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he did so many interviews, right, while they were looking for the kids, and he was so open. Just like you say about Joe Pyfer. I think there's some differences, but people have been in the chat being like, "Yo, he got the same characteristics of this guy Chris Watts. Like keep him far away from that girl."
Yeah.
So like if anyone's interested, I did watch the Chris Watts like interviews and stuff, and I did see some similarities. I also
Yeah.
didn't see some similarities. So you might want to go
Yeah. I
check it
wouldn't
out
go.
though.
I wouldn't go that far, but I will say this. There's something to be said about emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Understand how to give yourself time to heal and also give that person time to heal. It takes a lot of emotional intelligence. For everybody in the chat too, I'll share something with you. When you have an emotional moment like that, you know how many guys are in prison for killing somebody because they broke up with them? And they're right now like 10, 20, 30, 40 years later because of emotion they made.
Over some
40,
puss.
right, 40 years later, bro, they're like, it's the last thing they can't even, what was it for, right? But at that one moment in their mind, so this is what I'll share with everybody. When you get an emotion, it hits your spinal cord. Your spinal cord creates all the nerves, right? In your back lobe. That's where all that is. It takes time for that to come to your frontal lobe where all your logic is.
Mm.
So you really have to give yourself that education to understand how your body reacts. That's why when you react, when that moment happens, you can feel it in your stomach,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because your body's fighting all these nerves.
Chemical
And
reactions
so
are going off.
yes, and so if you give it time to breathe and to understand, to have that to start coming in here, you're gonna make a lot more logical decisions
So sit
within
on it
what's happening.
for a little bit. No
Yes,
Diddy.
yes. But a lot of people, that's why there's a lot of people in prison because they just reacted.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even have the education to understand how their body works.
They're just
There
going through
should be a class
pain.
for it, bro. Yeah, there should be a class for that to give people some knowledge. Doesn't mean it will help everybody, but at least it could, I honestly think it could stop people.
Oh, definitely. For
Yeah,
sure.
honestly,
I mean
yeah,
that I just listened to that. I didn't really know about that, but I would definitely listen to that moving forward. Like that's one of those
yeah,
profound things you could tell somebody and they'll be like, oh, "Okay, like I'm a remember that and I'm gonna keep that in
yeah,
mind next time I'm pissed off." Like
right,
I'll definitely remember
yeah,
that. And it
yeah.
makes sense too because a lot of times when you first think about something, like when you think about it once you've been removed from that situation, it's
Right. You're
you're
like,
like, wait a minute, I remember the thoughts I had a second ago, and like, yeah, maybe I was tripping a little bit. You do think like
it's
that.
almost too like you ever get in those situations where like you kind of like low key start arguing with somebody and you get real heated, and then like 30 minutes later when you're removed from like dude, why did I waste my time doing
Yes,
all that?
yes,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
It takes
It could
being
be
in that
something at
situation to kind of know not to do
exactly,
that.
exactly.
Yeah,
So you just get caught up in the moment. But when you have more emotions because it's the relationship and you're like, oh, I really want this person,
hmm
please, please.
yeah. So that is the Joe Pyfer thing. I figured I would get your thoughts on that. But yeah,
Yeah.
your main thoughts are like you're not really into
Let's see where he's at in a
yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Prove
I don't know
yourself
how much.
over a year and don't be getting married
Yeah.
anytime soon.
Please.
Please. I mean, the average person, has like marriages fail more than 50% in the US. So like, bro, marriage is the last thing you
But
need.
I think there's something to be said. I really had this conversation with somebody the other day, and I don't want to jump too much into this.
Yeah.
They always talk about like how full is your cup? You ever hear like people talk about those type of like
Yeah.
discussions? Okay. So most people in this life walking around with the cup a very, very low. Low like this cup.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they think is that what they think is that, well, if I go meet her, him, she's gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna feel happy. I'm gonna feel like my life is fulfilled and complete.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is that that other person you're meeting is probably feeling the same way.
Mm.
So you're not really adding anything to her cup, and she's not really adding anything to your cup because you're both trying to feel
Fulfilled by the
feel
other.
complete by the other. Especially after that sexual like euphoria kind of wears off.
Mm-hmm.
Now what do you have?
Yeah.
Now you're dealing with who that person really is. Do we really want to be together? But if you kept taking on those sides of the cup, you're both like not even filling each other's cup. The goal is to have your cup and that you're working on yourself already half full. So when you meet somebody, you can share some of your cup with them because you have enough inner strength, inner validation, inner peace that you can provide that to them
Mm-hmm.
with real love, with real understanding off the bat.
You could build each other up and you have the tools to do so.
Right. Right. But most people can't even have those honest discussions with themselves, let alone their partner. But when you're young too, bro, like I get it. Like it's cool just, partying, having sex, you know what I mean? Like you're not thinking that far ahead, right? You're thinking what's in front of you, what feels good right now.
Yeah. And it's hard to put that stuff on the back burner to fill your cup, right? Because filling your cup means you got to sit there and actually kind of be okay with not having those things that you're kind of referring to without really mentioning them. To
Yeah.
fill your cup, you can't really be seeing chicks. You can't really be, going out and having sex and all that stuff on a pretty frequent basis because it is a low frequency type of thing. It does take away from you productivity regardless. Even just texting them and setting it up. Let alone once you crack them and then you got to worry if they're fucking another dude and it all that stuff matters, right? Unless you just really don't give a shit. So like that's the hard part, and I think that's why a lot of people don't really fill their cup and they go just for the quick fix, the shortcut, which is like, let me just go bring someone else into my life because that's the quick fix for that validation. But while you're filling up that cup, just to MTK's point, if you are going to try to fill up your cup, you got to realize that like while you're doing that, you ain't gonna be fucking, you ain't gonna be having no chick who's loving you. You're trying to get to that point so that when you go see her, you guys can meet up with your cups both like half full, so to speak.
Well, and I think too, because when you initially meet somebody, like you're not even having those honest conversations, like because everything's so materialistic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything has so many empty calories that you can't even dig deep on that type of conversation. Like you said, that low frequency, it's very, very low, very
Mm-hmm.
minimal. You know what I mean? Everything is social media and this and that. So you can't even get to that point it's not until you break up, like, and then you have all that pain. And so what do you want to do? We don't want to feel that.
Yeah. I call it the
What do you
moo-moo
want to do?
stage.
Yeah, what do you want to do? You want to go get something new, shiny, feel good again.
Quick fix.
But you've never really dealt with any of that. So it's just going to be another vicious cycle. And then you're taking again from another person. And it's just, like I said, I don't want to get too deep into it. So
Nah, yeah, I feel you. But yeah, the best thing to do is honestly just to sit with that
the
shit.
guys are like, I thought this was the MMA chat.
No, honestly, bro, the chat loves it when we break down free game. I was giving them some free game. What I was saying about Joe Pyfer, I was like, I was giving him this free game. I'm like, boys, Joe Pyfer don't even know it. Like he lost this girl, even if he gets her back, he lost her because the dynamic of the relationship is just fucked, and he's fucked himself. Now he always got to be her bitch because of how, and he's begging for her back, making all these promises. So if he doesn't fulfill it,
a relationship,
it's fucked
the
now.
relationship's never the same.
Yeah.
Never will be the same.
Absolutely
Never will be
fucked.
the same. Never. You will, even if they get back together, she will always use that against you. And
Always.
vice versa. Like I've been in a relationship where like me and the girl both cheating on each other. And we both had this like, yeah, but you did this to me.
Yeah. Hmm.
So don't say nothing.
Right.
And then you have those trust issues that it's so hard to come back from, dude. It's one of those things. I remember a friend told me, it's like, you gotta let that go, bro.
You got to let it go. And here's one of the other things that I
Yeah.
think people don't talk about, but I like to talk about the quiet parts out loud, so to speak. But the other dynamic to that, I would love to know whether you agree or disagree or meet in the middle somewhere. But like the thing that's complicated is that women, they like a little bit of abuse. That's what I've been saying. They like a little degree of it to where, it's kind of the male and the female, right? Most women, they do like that. And so what Joe's kind of done is he's traumatized her to the point where he can't really teeter that line of like, that little bit of abuse. Kind of like, the what I'm saying is women like a bad boy.
Abuse might be abuse may be a wrong word for it, but I see what you're trying to say.
Like a bad boy type figure, right?
Yeah.
Where it could be seen to be like an abusively or emotionally abusive relationship.
A better word than abuse would be like arrogant.
Arrogant. So yeah, but he's fucked it up for himself to where like now he can't toe that line because she's traumatized. And if
Yeah.
he does do stuff like that, she's gonna mistake it as like, you're over me again. You found another girl. Who are you fucking? And so, and also on top of that, by him being so nice to her and not being able to be that bad boy at times, it's not going to be able to scratch her itch because girls do want that at the end of the day too, right? So he
Sure.
could open himself up to getting cheated on by trying to be the perfect guy for her, because girls, whether they know it or not, they never want the perfect guy. They like to bitch about the guy a little bit. If the guy's perfect, that's usually when they go out and cheat. Tom Brady's wife getting fucked by the jiu-jitsu instructor. They don't come more perfect than Tom Brady. But you know what I mean? When you're too
That's crazy.
perfect, like they
That's
like a
crazy
little bit of a
work.
bad boy. So,
That's
but
crazy
just
work.
like, what's your thoughts on that as far as like Joe could be fucked because she might leave him because now things are too good and he being too nice.
Yeah, I mean, it just will never be the same again. Just like
Just overall.
as nice as he wants to be, even if you won her back, there's still going to be a lot of turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll just revert back to who he is anyway and acting the way his attitude, that nice attitude he has of Mr. Nice, will probably go out the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then she'll just end up breaking up. I don't know. It will never work, bro.
Right.
Prove me wrong.
And I was also saying, last thing I
Well,
guess I'll say is
yeah.
that I was also saying, I'm like, you know what? Joe might just probably be with the wrong girl. If he was out here cheating, if he was, I don't know if this is true or not, but if he was getting angry with her and if he was being impatient and shit like that, then maybe you just were with the wrong girl. Maybe you need to find a new girl who, you don't feel the urge to cheat on and that you aren't like getting annoyed with and shit like that. So that could be it too. Maybe he's just with the wrong chick and he won't accept it. He's trying to make something work that like, shouldn't really be working. They're not compatible. And
And
that's fine.
I don't know how much time they've been together. I don't know the whole backstory, but there's something to be said too. A lot of times when people break up, you're really breaking up with that comfortability of being with somebody. So then when you're in that position where you have to be alone and you don't like that feeling, you want to like somehow, it goes back to what we just said, like your cup and filling your cup and stuff, like you'll do anything to like say, okay, we'll just make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like, are they even right for each other? Like me, so you kind of like eat the bullet almost, like, well, at least I'm not single. At least I'm not alone. Like we kind of already know each other. We know our tendencies. We can make it work, I guess.
Yeah, and then if you're a woman, right?
TP12 got host.
Yeah, TP12. No,
Tom
but
Brady
if
the
you're
go,
also
dog.
if you're
Tom Brady the go.
he is the GOAT. If you're also a woman, I
See, look at that's a perfect example. You didn't see Tom Brady out here saying nothing.
no, he keeps his mouth shut.
Tom Brady on a yacht.
Yeah, he doing his thing. He got some bread
Hey,
though.
who's stopping by?
Yeah. But if
Who's
you're also,
stopping by?
speaking of what you said though about wanting to keep the relationship good just because you guys been dating, that doesn't even bring into account the part where Joe is 29, his girl is around the same age. So we all know, right? If a girl does not, like, the last time a girl wants to break up is when she's fucking turning 30. Because they have that clock for having a baby.
Sure,
And when you have to
sure.
reset, you're talking about potentially years before you can have a baby with the right guy, right? So like for women even more so. That's why it's a very scary situation for the girl because she might want to forgive Joe because she wants to have a child, right?
Right.
And she'll be willing to overlook his shortcomings for that. So it just goes to show, like, also, bro, like, here's what I'll say is like, I don't care that Joe cheated on her. I really don't. But it's like, Joe, like, you shouldn't have wasted this much of this girl's time to where she's breaking up with you when she turns 30. Like, you did her dirty there. You know, like, if you're going to keep her along, then, like, just treat her right to the point where, like, you're not going to fuck up her chances of having, like, kids in the future because of your own selfish endeavors, wanting to go fuck bitches on the side all the time. Like, if that's who you are, then you should have let her go a long time ago so she could go have a kid with somebody else.
Right.
That's the
Right.
one thing that I don't really respect. It's like, if you're gonna keep her, bro, then you shouldn't do her that dirty to where like you guys are gonna break up and now she can't have a kid anymore. Like you did kind of fuck with her life there. I can't
Right.
deny that.
I second that. I second
Yeah,
that.
yeah. That's the one
Hey, I
thing.
got like 10 minutes just so you know.
Okay, we're pretty much done, but we can read the chat a little bit and then we'll hop out of here.
Yeah, I would
We
just
haven't
say
even
that,
talked about Moicano versus Duncan, but fuck it.
I mean, okay, so here's my thing here. I'll end it on this. Duncan was crazy to see that he's fighting Moicano. Moicano will fight anybody, so I respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just can't see him fighting that high level of a guy and getting past him. I know he's on a kind of a nice little streak right now. I just feel like it's a missed opportunity for UFC to put that as the main card. I don't know why you would do that. Like, okay, a Torres maybe, like someone, Quillen. Is he ranked yet?
I think he just got ranked recently.
I mean, so I mean, there's some guys in that 15 to 20 that I can't, been keeping my eye on, but Moicano, I don't know.
Yeah, I will even take a step further and be like, even a Moicano main event is like Moicano isn't the biggest headliner out there. Like he's funny
Sure,
and shit, but he's
right.
not the biggest headliner out there.
Right. He's in that mid level, right? Like he's in that, like, you don't have to be a diehard. You kind of like you could be a casual, but not like the Ilya Tapora casual, like Conor McGregor casual, only would fight like when someone big.
Yeah,
So
he's more of a card elevator. Like you throw him on a card that's already got a good main
co-main,
event, and he makes
right?
it a lot better because he gives you like now you got two moments.
Press, you got good press with him all the time.
Yeah,
Really good. Like he's gonna say something funny.
yeah. The only takeaway
Yes.
I have for it is I'm pretty much with you. Like I don't know, I just don't know about this matchup really. Call me a fucking casual. I guess today I deserve it. But it's like I don't really know about this matchup.
I can't see him get past Moicano though.
And so with that being said, you can't see him getting past Moicano.
Yeah.
Where I stand with it is like if he does get past Moicano, now I know something about him because I know
Sure.
Moicano, right?
Sure.
And so this is the time where it's like, okay, I'll understand a little bit about him. I know his record. I know he got wins over Oki and I think he lost to Manuel Torres, right?
Here's the thing too with like the Terrence McKinney. We don't know
He beat
what those
Terrence.
fights. What you don't know when he either's gonna win or he's gonna lose.
Mm-hmm.
We know that. So that's a matchmaker heaven anytime you have McKinney because you're gonna get some type of dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
So I put that as a watch. Rebecca, would we put Rebecca versus Moicano? That was a unanimous decision.
No.
Right. Rebecca's a dog. We know that. We know he's a dog. So I can't. No.
Mm-hmm.
Not. It's cute. It's cute.
I just forgot to. Nitro well just commented. I told you they're gonna get on our ass about this, but Nitro just commented. He goes titled Moicano versus Duncan. By the way, it's like, boys, we're trying to fucking do you a solid. We know that there's a main event coming up this weekend. We're trying to cover it, but shit, there ain't nothing to fucking cover. Nitro, I'm sorry. I knew you guys were gonna get on my ass about this. I knew it. I knew it. Tell him, ask MTK. I told him before we even got started. I was like, let's go through the main. Let's go through Tapology.
Oh,
real quick.
no. Just so they know, the shit, it's mid.
It's mid, bro.
Mid as, like, I can't, after the Moicano, like, you have to be a diehard UFC fan to want to get excited about this fight card.
Yeah.
So I'm not super hyped about it at all. I may watch. Like, I got to go do a couple things, right? I'm not pressing if I don't get back home in time.
You're good not even watching it. You're good just listening to it on the fucking broadcast while you're like out shopping somewhere.
I definitely going to want to watch the main one, right? That's
for sure. But like for the whole card.
Yeah, because like even the homie Perry Puncher, he knows like I'm usually diehard like prelim gang.
Yeah. You get
Nah,
on me. You get on
no,
me usually for not being prelim gang.
no.
But no, I'll give you guys the fights to watch. But again, this is like the most hardcore shit you'll ever hear. So just, I know MTK, he gonna be like, he gonna be rolling his eyes a little bit. But for any of the hardcores out there, let me just give you a little fights to watch.
And here's a crazy thing. We'll probably get a lot of finishes.
I know, and
That's the thing.
that's why I
we'll
say
probably,
too.
but the casual dude will be like, who cares about these guys? Like,
Yeah, and that's why it's like in hindsight, sometimes it's like all finishes don't just equate to the best card ever. I think it's both. I think it's you need to give us good fights, and then if those fights deliver, now that's the best card of the year. But just because you gave us a bunch of shit fights on a card, and they happen to be good, the UFC don't get fucking credit for that.
You know what we should do? I'm down to do this.
Hmm.
When cards come up like this, we go and say, hey, this is the fights we would have made.
That's a good one.
Fighters that haven't been fighting, fighters that we see are on the rise. So we could give our card, be like, this is what, if I was in the UFC shoes, this is what we would put together. Next week's going to be hard because it's a big fight, but then maybe we'll look at some of these other cards.
We could do it with more high profile matchups on pay-per-views.
Yeah. Well,
because on UFC White House, we all
stacked.
What was that?
The pay-per-views are usually stacked, right?
Yeah.
Like the next weekend is going to be stacked. Like the Yuri versus Carlos, Joshua Van versus Tatura, Curtis Blades versus Jock Olberg versus who is that? Paul Walker, Johnny Walker. So you got a Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico, Paulo Costa versus Osmat. So they got a lot of like.
But an example would have been like Patty versus
your boy Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown next weekend. I like that. Tatiana Suarez versus Lupi. I like that. Kevin Galson versus Vicente Luque. That starts the card off.
Yeah.
I like that. That's the prelim. Now we're cooking.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be their prelim gang next week, bro.
Right. What you're kind of referring to though is like when Gaethje versus Patty got booked, we would have said, Patty versus Arman is the fight to make instead.
True.
Or Cyril Gane versus Pereira, you'd say like John Jones versus Pereira. So that's what you're talking about.
But I'm talking about like this card with Moicano. Like that's the card like we could really judge. You know what I mean? Like these other cards, like those big cards, those are harder to judge. Those because we know we're gonna be there watching those.
Yeah. But I mean, shit, if I don't know who the suggestion could be to fill in Moicano, I'd probably scrap this whole main event. I'd scrap this whole bitch. But we could do something like that. But let me give the boys just some fights to look out for, some storylines real quick. Kai Kamaka, he's filling in on short notice against Dakota Hope. Second stint in the UFC. Hawaiian guy. Not going to be a world champion by any means, but, he's your average card filler. Asma Bekaev versus Tresean Gore should be a decent fight. So just tap into that one if you don't know, now you know.
If you don't know.
Yeah, Dana White. And then literally the only other ones I got for you is like Tommy McMillan, Sean O'Malley's teammate. He's returning, making his debut off winning the Contract on Contender Series. So, check him out. He's undefeated 9-0. Apparently a good grappler, mid-striker. And then, Ethan Ewing coming off his win in the debut on short notice against Malcolm Wellmaker, formerly undefeated. So check out Ethan Ewing. He got a big dub in his debut on short notice. He's returning against Rafael Estevam, undefeated 14-0. So another undefeated guy, 2 in a row.
That's fun. That's fun.
So tap into Ethan Ewing. We're pretty high on Ethan because of the win he got in his debut. He took out a prospect on short notice.
That was just like a month ago, right?
Yeah, a month or two. It was this year, I believe. Or actually, no, I think it was at the end of last year.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Because the name does sound familiar.
Yeah, he kind of he was one of those big winners off
November.
Yeah, November.
Oh, versus Wellmaker.
Yeah, undefeated.
Okay. So, see, now you got me back a little bit.
Yeah. So make sure you tune into Ethan for sure. Brendan.
That's good. I'm glad you gave some of that. Okay.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I don't got much. Even Renato versus Chris Duncan. I'd rather you guys watch Ethan Ewing versus Rafael Estevam than Renato versus Chris Duncan. Call me crazy, but I would literally tell you guys watch that one over the main event.
If Moicano doesn't get this win,
I know.
He better get a finish.
We're in a sad state if Chris Duncan is winning main events.
He better get a finish, bro.
We'll see. Okay. I gotta take a massive
piss. A lock. It's a lock. Moicano's winning, bro. It's a
Moicano
lock.
winning.
Yeah, it's a lock. It's a setup for Duncan.
HT says Moicano fight style is fun to watch. Shout out to HT. I saw Jew in the chat. I saw Andrew Nance, Nitro well. Retro in this bitch. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like the video. Run up the likes for me and MTK on the way out. Shout out to Tony Sal. Shout out to Tom Brady and that jiu-jitsu instructor who fucking cracked his wife. All right. Shout out to Medi and Robert and Otto.
Got a lot of
Jew.
homies in here.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jew, usual suspect.
Anyone else in here? Clint Eastwood, shout out.
Yeah, we like boxing, but not really. How's that for you, Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
Kept on asking me like boxing. No, I'm not the guy for you.
MTK, not the boxing guy. You could ask me about boxing. I don't mind.
You
Meet
it's
Rocket.
very hard for me to watch. You already know this. It's very hard for me to watch a boxing match. I'm not.
No, I agree. I know.
I did see that one live, and I actually had fun though. I will say that. I have to admit. That.
Ryan Garcia.
No, the one
that
I just
one.
saw here. Yeah. Actually, because it was entertaining, like they were fighting.
Yeah.
So I did like that.
Okay. AI2A shout out. Top Tier Hustle. Meet Rocket. Charles Nicholas. Everybody who was in here, shout out. Everybody, make sure you like the video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'll be live again tomorrow. MTK, you gonna be here next week?
Yeah, I'll be here next week.
Okay, MTK here next week on Wednesday. So tap in next Wednesday for the Me and MTK show. But I'll be live every day until then. All right, peace out, boys.